Hey, so I just wanted to simplify everything that goes into the conscious creation realm into a very, very simple, basic idea, which is what I've concluded is really all that's happening here. All of this is doing, all of the affirmations, all of the mental work, all the time spent imagining, all of that, when it comes to producing a result, all you're doing is changing your mind from believing that it's up to random chance whether or not it happens to believing it will happen no matter what. That's it. That's it. It's having a can-do attitude. It's believing in yourself. It's believing in the outcome. It's knowing that something will happen. Everything else that happens here is ancillary to that. It's secondary, it's peripheral and superfluous. You can spend 6 hours a night imagining your outcome, taking on the state, all of this stuff, like intentionally doing all of this stuff, when really all you would have to do is just get to the point where you say, I want this to happen, and it's gonna happen. That's it. That's all you really have to do. And I think this is a lot easier for people who already kind of exist that way. Like, for example, there are people that see themselves as losers and people that see themselves as winners. And many people that see themselves as winners don't have a lot to back it up with, especially if they're young. There's just a certain type of mentality that successful people inhabit. And this all, when it comes to the actual doing or getting of a thing or a status or whatever, a relationship, whatever you're trying to do, so much of the doing just comes down to believing in yourself and believing that, where there's a will, there's a way. That's not from Neville Goddard. That's a standard, cliche that we've all heard our whole lives. Where there's a will, there's a way. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. This is stuff that is standard pep talk type crap that you hear on the Get Motivated subreddit or wherever. The people that go to, information about becoming motivated and disciplined are in the exact same place. They're trying to get something, and it's all the same thing. The only difference is that Neville and all the other authors and everything else kind of give you more of a spiritual understanding, I guess, or a way to believe in it that is less based on you and more based on the law. Basically, all any of this stuff is doing is just trying to get you to believe in yourself and just trying to get you to have a better attitude about the outcomes of things. And the reason I started kind of wanting to make this channel, the reason I started talking is because, I knew about, I read this stuff early on, but so much of all of my success has just come from mundane, hard work and, becoming disciplined and developing personality traits of a winner. It didn't come from spending all my time imagining. It came, basically, the only thing that changed for me and it didn't change much because I already believed it was going to happen. When I read The Science of Getting Rich, I was like, this is my innate philosophy already. And if there was any remaining doubt, reading this book removed it. Now I know I will be successful. I already knew it. I already believed in myself. I already knew I could do this. This removed all doubt. And my success in the financial field has been amazing. And it was probably gonna be anyway. That's the thing. I already had the right attitude. Okay, but then you look at other things where I didn't have a good attitude, like my weight. I stayed fat until I was 38. I had the ability to simultaneously get in good shape as working, I could have done that at the same time I was working on my business. All it really requires is to stop pigging out. I mean, you don't even have to exercise to lose a ton of weight. You just have to restrict what you're eating. I could have been doing that the whole time, but why didn't I? It was because in my mind, I identified as the overweight person, and I believed that I couldn't, I doubted that I could really do it. What it took for me to get from 190 to 115, I didn't believe that I could do it, really, or I doubted I could. And that doubt was enough to keep me from doing it, all the way till I got to the point where I said, fuck this, I'm doing this if it fucking kills me. That's the same mentality in a different form of everything that we're doing here. It's gonna happen or I'm gonna die trying. Is the same attitude as it's done. It's a belief in yourself. It's a belief in your ability to make a thing happen. And so where this stuff really comes in handy, I think, is in the areas where you don't know the steps to take. You don't, and when you can't see a way, like with a diet, literally anyone who is willing to put in the time exercising and who is willing to not put food in their mouth over a certain amount, anyone who is willing to, able to do that, can do exactly what I did. It's that simple. This bogus that some people can't lose weight is just that. It's a load. It's a load of horseshit. So we know what to do there, but when it comes to, getting something you can't see a way to, or getting somewhere you just don't even have the first clue about what needs to happen in order for you to do that, that's where this stuff comes in and gives you the can-do attitude that you would normally get just from knowing the way and believing in yourself and saying, I'm gonna do this. That's all this really is. It's basically looking at something that you would normally say, I'm gonna do this come hell or high water. Looking at something that you don't see the way to and applying that exact same attitude toward it, and then allowing the path that you must take to reveal itself. Like the path to 115 to me was pretty obvious. I took it. There were some little surprises along the way, some things that I didn't really fully know I was gonna have to do, but I did it. And like for me with the relationship stuff that I always talk about, and this is my only area where I had a lot of changing mentally to do. It's happened. The way forward has happened. And along the way on this channel, I've been trying to interpret it. I've been saying, oh, this happened. I think, blah, blah. I'm not going to know what any of this stuff meant until it's behind me. Just like all the other things, that surprised me along the way and I didn't know what they meant until I look back and go, wow, I didn't realize that was going to have to be part of it. All it is saying, I'm not going to be a sad sack about this anymore. I'm not going to be a victim in this area of my life. I'm not going to be a victim of circle. I'm not going to say like, because I was born into this situation, it's hopeless. That's it. Like whatever you look at in your life that you can take action on and that you could be successful if you just decided you were going to be, it's applying the same attitude to the things that you don't know what to do with. That's it. That is literally it. That is how this makes things happen. It's how it sets things into motion. The illusion is in the times where it seems like the action is clear to take. There's a certain amount of illusion in that because you think, like for me with the weight thing, I thought I knew exactly how I was going to get from A to B, but some things happened in there that really, without which I don't know that I would have actually been able to get from point A to point B. There's always the illusion of knowing, and it's the, a lot of times the path you're going to take is the one that is obvious. But even when you aren't aware that you're influencing, like divine intelligence is working on your behalf, it is, and you see that when you look back and you go, oh, well, yeah, I went from point A to point B by walking 6 miles a day and eating 1,200 calories for a year. It was pretty straightforward. Oh yeah, but in the middle there I realized I really had to change my diet, or this wasn't going to take. Like, women that weigh 115 pounds don't eat McDonald's twice a day. You know, or I had to have this little mini relationship explosion in there to shine a light on some mental stuff I have going on that really needs to be addressed in order for me to view this whole process of turning into a different person, essentially, you know, in the right way. That's the kind of stuff that you don't plan, that you can't see coming, that just happen on your behalf, created by divine intelligence as you're on the known path, that end up getting you all the way there, all the way to that end place that you want to be. I hope that makes sense.